Welcome to another episode of PSLE Science Made Simple. I'm Chun Hong and I'm a PSLE Science Specialist here at the Pique Lab. In this video, I'll be analysing a past year examination question on the topic of heat energy. I've also prepared this question for you to download for free by clicking on the link in the description box below. So, let's get started. Question 19. The table below shows the freezing point and boiling point of four different substances A, B, C, and D. Okay, so before we look at the question, let's recap a bit on what is freezing and boiling. Can you tell me what is freezing? Freezing is when a substance changes from which state to which state. Freezing is when substance changes from liquid state to solid state. Alright, now how about boiling? Boiling is when substance changes from liquid state to gaseous state. So below they give you a table that shows you the freezing point and boiling point of four substances A, B, C, and D, and give you three students that made some statements and they want you to find out who is correct. So before we look into the statements, let's do some annotations on the table first. Okay, a lot of my students will do their annotations like this. So for freezing point, it will be liquid first, then after that solid, and then for boiling point, it will be liquid, then after that gas. Right, and when they look at this annotation, some of my students will get stuck because they cannot link freezing point and boiling point together, because on one end it's solid and connecting to the other end of boiling point is liquid. I will ask my students to change freezing point to melting point. So why is this possible? How do we link freezing and melting together? We can think about water. Alright, let me ask you, at what temperature does water freeze at? Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. Now, how about melting? At what temperature does water melt at? Water melts at 0 degrees Celsius. So from this, can we see that freezing point and melting point is actually occurring at the same temperature? Right, so that's why I can use them interchangeably. But the only difference is, for melting means a change in state from solid to liquid in state. When you look at this annotation, I believe you can see the connection between melting point and boiling point. Before melting point, we see that the substance is in solid. After melting point and before boiling point, we can see that the substance is in liquid state. And afterwards, after boiling point, the substance will be in a gaseous state. Now, once you have done this annotation, these two steps to change freezing point to melting point and label SLG for solid, liquid, and gas, you are ready to answer the question. Everybody, let's look at the statement below. Let's look at IV first. IV said that at 50 degrees Celsius, only substance B is in the solid state. Right? When they say only substance B means how many substances am I talking about? I'm only talking about one, correct? So I'm only talking about substance B that is in the solid state. So how do we annotate this statement in the table? Let's take substance A for example first. Right, where will you place 50 degrees Celsius for substance A? Right, we will place 50 degrees Celsius after 44 degrees and before 299 degrees Celsius. So let's do that for all the substances B, C, and D. For substance B, we can place 50 in the middle of 0 and 100. And for substance C, it will be before 53 degrees Celsius and substance D before 80. And going back to Ivy's statement, she said that only substance B is in a solid state. Can you look at the annotation and tell me, is substance B placed under the solid state? No, substance B is placed under the liquid state. Right, so is Ivy's statement correct? No, Ivy's statement is not correct. In fact, which substances are in the solid state? We can see that substances C and D are in the solid state. Let's look at the next person. Let's look at Kamal. Kamal said that at 90 degrees Celsius, all the substances exist in the liquid state. So from the table, where can we see liquid state? Alright, just now we already have taken a look at liquid state in the center, so I will quickly use my blue highlighter to box up liquid state. Liquid state is in the middle of the table. Okay, so let's check it out whether at 90 degrees Celsius, all of them will be in liquid state. Look at substance A. Again, we will place 90 degrees Celsius in the middle of 44 and 299. And we can see that this is the same for substance B and also substance C and D. Right, so it's more correct when he said all of the substances exist in liquid state at 90 degrees Celsius. From our annotations, we can see that all of them exist in the liquid state at 90 degrees Celsius. Right, so I will give this statement a tick. Finally, let's look at Sammy. Sammy said that when the substances are heated from 60 degrees Celsius to 200 degrees Celsius, substances B, C, and D undergo a change in state. When will the substance undergo a change in state? The substances undergo change in state when the substance undergo, for example, melting. If not, the substances must undergo boiling, for example, right, according to this question. Okay, and when the substances undergo melting after being heated, this means that the temperature of the substance must pass through which point? Is it melting point or boiling point? For melting, the temperature of the substance must go through the melting point. For this statement, we know that substances have melted if 60 degrees Celsius exists before melting point and 200 degrees Celsius exists after the melting point, because we see that the temperature has passed melting point. Alright, this is the same for boiling point. Substances must have boiled after it has gone through the boiling point. Alright, so let's take a look at how can we annotate this in the table. Again, I will use substance A as an example. For substance A, let's look at 60 degrees Celsius first. Where will I put 60 degrees Celsius for substance A? I will put it under the liquid state. Right, so let's annotate 60 degrees Celsius under the liquid state over here. And where will I put 200 degrees Celsius? 200 degrees Celsius is before 299. So when you look at these two temperatures, are both of them under the same state or under the different state? Both the temperature are under the same state. Have they passed any melting point and boiling point? They have not. So did substance A undergo a change in state? No, substance A did not undergo a change in state because when heated from 60 to 200, it is still in the liquid state. Alright, so this is how we annotate this. Now, I want you to pause the video and try it for substances B, C, and D. Let us go through how to annotate for substance B, C, and D together. Right, so for substance B, 60 degrees Celsius will be under the liquid state, and 200 degrees Celsius will be under the gaseous state. So did substance B undergo a change in state? From our annotation, we can see that substance B undergo a change in state from liquid to gas. Okay, how about substance C? 60 degrees Celsius will be under liquid. Again, 200 degrees Celsius will be under gas. Right, so from this, we can see that substance C underwent the same change in state as substance B, from liquid to gas. Finally, we can look at substance D. For substance D, 60 degrees Celsius would be before 80, which means that it will be in the solid state. And 200 degrees Celsius is before 218, which means that it will be the liquid state. So did substance D undergo a change in state? Yes, it did, right? In fact, it underwent a change in state from solid to liquid. So is Sammy correct when Sammy said that substances B, C, D underwent a change in state? Yes, he is correct. Finally, you need to find out whose statement is correct. So we are looking at the ticks. So the ticks only belong to Kamal and Sammy, which gives us our correct option to be number 4. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you found this video useful, do give us a thumbs up. If you would like to check out more videos by us, do click on the links on the right hand side. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!